Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And welcome back to Sports Scene, another great Wednesday, 4 days before Christmas. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Michael from the morning show filling in for JD. Glad you're with us for this live show every Wednesday right here on News Talk 1650. Also from 12 to 1. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Sports Scene is an interview show that we archive every week on GJBTV.com by hitting the YouTube link. Also invite you to watch sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. Twitter, we have a lot. At Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, at HROnlineMall.com as well. Thank you to our military sponsors on GJBTV.com homepage and marketplace sponsors. Our guest lineup is presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant in Virginia Beach with two great locations. Phone line presented by Me Hogar as well. Sponsors this month in December, which is hard to believe it's almost over, Spaghetti Eddie's, Crawl Space, and Me Hogar. Don't forget the Wizards will come back on our air starting in January in the NBA. They're starting to play a little bit better actually as well. Redskins must win versus the Bears. They kind of choked against Carolina on Monday. A lot of holiday games this weekend, including the Ravens and the Steelers. Nice mix of Thursday night football, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Basketball, college, and the NBA going on, of course. HROnlineMall.com on Twitter as well. Old Dominion in a big bowl game Friday as well. Kudos to the Monarchs for playing in the Bahamas. This is Sports Scene. Come back after these moments right here on News Talk 1650. Stay tuned.
Oh, yeah, this is the place where Washington Wizards basketball comes alive on the radio.
John Wall, edge of the circle, cuts to his right, splits the defenders, drives, 360 under the basket, makes it, scores!
Follow John Wall, the Wizards, all season long on their journey through the NBA.
Catch and shoot for three, it's there! It's there!
Check it on Twitter at Dave J Sports or at GC Talks. It is the hashtag radio party right here on your home for Washington Wizards basketball.
Listen on 1650 AM, The Answer.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet. Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to GJBTV.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650 in Virginia Beach, 10,000 watts of power. Also, TuneIn.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer anywhere in the world. Of course, this is your home for the Baltimore Ravens and, of course, the Wizards select games in 2017. Well, let's start off the show right now talking to Mr. Peter Schmuck from the Baltimore Sun. He's been with the Baltimore Sun for several years, covering the Orioles and, of course, and all the Mid-Atlantic sports. He even covers some news stories, too, in the Ravens. He's a columnist. Peter Schmuck, welcome to Virginia Beach.
Well, thanks for having me.
Very good, very good. It was good seeing you on Sunday. Let's start off with that game as well. It was really a close game that the Ravens did beat the Eagles, but that's kind of way the year has been, kind of topsy-turvy, up and down, really nothing consistent about the Ravens this year.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. Although that game, wasn't a matter of consistency as much as judgment. The Ravens made an absolutely horrible play call at the end to turn a 10-point win, one of their rare comfortable wins. I mean, if they hand the ball off 3 times from the 11-yard line with 6 minutes left, the game's pretty much over. And yet they threw the ball, had a very, very damaging interception, and came within 2 yards, a 2-point conversion, of being knocked out of realistic playoff contention. It was just absolutely inconceivable that call could be made at that time. And Ravens still a little bit sensitive about it. I'm over at Ravens camp right now, but I think you'll see. John Harbaugh listening a little closer on the headset when the offensive play calling takes place if they're ahead on Christmas Day.
Peter, tell us your background, really how the newspapers have really changed as well. Now everybody's connected online. You're very active in Twitter. But before, back in the day when it was the Washington Post or the Washington Star, the Baltimore Sun, was just pretty much people in the area could read the newspaper. Now everybody's pretty much connected online. So give us all your parameters on Twitter and everything else.
Well, you can reach me on Twitter at SchmuckStop. And that's my work Twitter account, and obviously you have BaltimoreSun.com is where my stories will come up if you're not reading a paper product, and I appreciate the plug. I have been in Baltimore for a while. I was happy to hear you say I'd been here several years, because I wish I'd been here just several years. I'd be a much younger man. I've been here 27 years. In about 2 weeks. So I've been there for 27 years. I'm a Californian by birth, and I'm standing out here on the sidewalk at the Under Armour Performance Center, and it's colder right now, and it's actually a pretty nice day than it ever is in Southern California, so I guess I must have liked it here.
Right, talking to Peter Schmuck. You might want to spell your name, too, for the people out there following you on Twitter.
Yeah, it's the classic spelling of Schmuck, S-C-H-M-U-C-K. So it's Schmuck and Stop, one word, which is basically a condensation of the name of my blog at BaltimoreSun.com, which is the Schmuck Stops Here.
Right, of course. We always find humor. I have a Greek name, so I totally understand. It's all about humor and stuff like that. Well, anyway, let's get back to the Ravens before we talk a little bit about the NFL around the league. You talk about the identity. I've had several guests over the years, like Stan White and Jerry Sandusky and Tony Lombardi and several people from, Bruce Cunningham from the Baltimore scene, that even though they've won 2 Super Bowls, it's almost like they get the 5th or 6th TV lineup as far as the pecking order. They don't get many national games unless, they've gone to the Super Bowl or the playoffs. It always seems like, the Ravens for several years, no matter how good they've been in that market, especially when you go to College Park, Laurel, have been like, second to the Redskins. It seems like the Redskins still, even to this day, get a lot more news than the Ravens do.
Yeah, and there's a paranoia about that here in Baltimore. Not just the Ravens, but the Orioles also. I think if you go back and look at last year's schedule, and the Orioles were a pretty good team, and the Yankees weren't. But the Yankees were on Sunday Sunday Night Baseball about every other week, and that's market driven, obviously. The Orioles don't get a lot of those games, and the Ravens don't seem to get a lot of those games. Though they'll be playing a national television game on Sunday, and so. But a lot of that comes from a basic civic inferiority complex that dates way back to the 60s and 70s. Just being kind of in between Washington and New York and Philadelphia, and always kind of feeling like they were the ugly sister of the group, and there's this feeling now, like every time the schedule comes out, it's the NFL's trying to kill the Ravens, and but the reality is they had a pretty good schedule this year overall, and one that looked pretty soft in the front end. It looked like they were in a position to really take off and be comfortable right now, and they lost some games. They had some injuries, lost some games they shouldn't have lost, and so right now they're in a position where they can control their own destiny, because if they win the next 2 games, they win the division. But they're 2 tough games on the road, and the odds on that probably aren't that good. But it didn't need to be this way, and that has nothing to do with the NFL scheduling. Now, last year's scheduling was terrible, and it made you wonder I think there was a conspiracy theory that like they're being punished for the Ray Rice situation, and or there were there was some other reason why Roger Goodell didn't like him, maybe because of the situation with the opening night after the Super Bowl, for the stadium conflict, and they weren't able to have that in Baltimore after they won the Super Bowl, and all that stuff, it lands here. People feel that way. I don't know if there's any reality to it, but last year's schedule was a mess. I mean, they went to the West 4 times in the first 7 weeks, back-to-back West Coast trips. I mean, it was just it really did look like somebody was trying to punch him in the gut, and it sure turned out badly.
You are what your record is. Of course, talking to the columnist from the Baltimore Sun, Peter Schmuck. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live right here at 12:17. Don't forget gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. And you talk about it, the Steelers on Christmas Day, the Bengals on New Year's Day, and of course the Bengals are out of the playoffs, but they're still a tough out in Cincinnati. You don't know what injuries are going to happen by then, who's going to be fatigued, who's going to be in the doghouse. I mean, still, Flacco could play great against, the Dolphins and then look flat, another week. So it's to win 2 games on the road is going to be very, very difficult because the Steelers are up 1 game right now. They're 9-5. So you figure if the Steelers even lose to the Ravens and they'll beat the Browns, it's the Ravens are going to be left out.
Yeah, that's the way it looks. I mean, it's not mathematically impossible that there's some wild card possibilities, sure. But the Ravens certainly know those are long odds. And you're correct. There was a collective groan all through the Mid-Atlantic region when as people were watching on their computers as the Steelers, who were getting waxed by the Bengals in the first half this week, then scored, I believe, on 6 straight possessions. They scored almost all field goals, but they just inched back. It was like the death of 1,000 cuts, and finally get back, and the Bengals make some mistakes. And if they lose that game, then this is the showdown for it all on Sunday. That the winner of that game was going to be guaranteed the division title. So it was very, very disappointing. But the Ravens still, the one thing you have to say, considering what they did last year, the fact that they're in a position right now to win out just 2 games, even if they are road games, is a lot better than a lot of people expected. And I think they can. I would think they have a better chance of winning in Pittsburgh than they do in Cincinnati, though the whole end of the season, team out of contention thing comes into play on the last game of the season. But they know how to win in Pittsburgh. They won 4 straight times against the Steelers. They just seem to know what to do against the Steelers. And so they got a chance.
They do, but it's going to be difficult because, you're going up against Tomlin, who's been criticized for not going deep in the playoffs himself. He's, of course, won a Super Bowl. You got Roethlisberger, who's not getting any younger, and you got an older veteran team with the Steelers, it seems like, and they know they have a good chance right now just to not have to worry about Week 17 as well. What's the identity of the Ravens going forward? This is the 9th year of Harbaugh. Billick had 9 years. He won a Super Bowl, and of course, Marchibroda, the late Marchibroda, coached the Colts and the Ravens. He's since passed away. Ozzie always seems to get a pass no matter what, Peter. It just he can hide under the radar. We see him in the snack bar upstairs, but he kind of floats in the clouds and is kind of like the Wizard of Oz almost.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that, and Ozzie had a tremendous record of building this team and keeping competitive for a long time, and so he gets obviously a lot of slack. Now, how much slack he gets if the Ravens lose these next 2 games, end up 8-8 out of the playoffs again, I don't know the answer to that. I know that we ask Ozzie, we have to ask Ozzie every year after the year if he's coming back for another year, because he's at that point in his career where it's an issue. He doesn't need the money, and I think he loves what he's doing. But yes, Ozzie is kind of bulletproof here. He has been for a long time. And then the coaches generally are too, until you get to a critical moment. And that's what happened with Brian Billick. And that almost happened with John Harbaugh a few years ago. And at that time, Steve Bisciotti said, you have another year like this, we're going to talk. Well, they did have that even worse year. That was after an 8-8 season. They had an even worse year last year, but it was so obvious all the things that happened that were out of their control that I think Steve Bisciotti was right not to lay that on anybody and just move forward. And now, if they make the playoffs coming off that year, if they could win these two games, then no matter what happens in a playoff game, I think everybody's fine.
Right, and of course, I think Ozzy's safe as long as Bisciotti's there, and he's not going anywhere. He's still very young, and like you said, it'll be interesting these next 2 weeks. We'll know a lot of information. I know a lot of your columnists have not always been so cozy with the Ravens, but I think it's a great atmosphere for fans who've never been to a game there. It's unlike the Redskins where they play 35 miles apart. It's a lot smaller stadium. It's easier to find parking. It's easier for the media to get around to go to the elevator. I mean, the Redskins stadium still is very lavish, even though it's just as old. And it is what it is. It's a blue collar town in Baltimore, and people love their Ravens. But I'll say this, during the Redskins game, and I told this to several people, I didn't hear a lot of boos when the Redskins scored. It was almost like the Ravens have had them stuffed down their throat for so many years. They didn't know how to react because that was only the second time the Redskins have gone to Baltimore in 21 years. They played in Landover several times, though. It was really an odd day that day.
I don't think there's really a rivalry there.
Right.
I really don't see it anymore. I think that I just think people have separated Washington and Baltimore. Even the newspapers don't essentially compete against each other on these teams. We have our group of people that cover the Ravens and cover the Orioles. They have their group of people that cover the Redskins and the Nationals and the other teams. I just don't think it's weird because they're so close together. You'd think there'd be a lot of emotion about it, but there really isn't.
Peter, what is the state of college sports right now? It seems like in November and December, college basketball is just totally hidden behind the NFL. Even college football, unless it's the Final Four, these bowl games are pretty much just TV programming. There's over 40 bowls, and most people don't even know they're on. And the tough part is they're competing against some of the NFL as well, and they're never going to win against the NFL. It just seems like unless it's the Final Four, even University of Maryland, average 500 team gets drowned out by the NFL. And the NFL is not going anywhere. The ratings might have been down because of the Trump election, but it doesn't matter. The NFL is just so big. It seems like it's just dwarfing college basketball in November and December, and January for that matter, as well as college football.
Yeah, I think that there's all sorts of people that are talking about the eventual decline of the NFL, that they're too focused on money, that they're eventually going to kill the golden goose. I don't see that happening anytime soon, and I don't see college football really falling by the wayside. I think I'm more concerned with college football on a moral and ethical level, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. That you watch what's happening here and how, despite what they say, the NCAA and how it's handled some of the situations. The fact that the wide variety of disciplines, you have a USC get essentially almost the death penalty for somebody paying Reggie Bush's mother's rent for a couple of months, and then you see teams, other marquee teams, just basically getting a pass for stuff that in some cases is much worse. There's just no rhyme or reason to it, and it very much looks like the NCAA is trying to improve its image right now, but the NCAA has been all about the money, very much like the NFL has. Mm-hmm. And I think people see that, and I don't know what they're going to do with this 40 bowl game thing. At some point they have to recognize that this is embarrassing. I mean, I don't know. Did you have a big bowl of popcorn for Western Kentucky versus Memphis last night?
Yeah, and
yesterday, or whatever it was.
You're exactly
I don't remember
right.
exactly when it was played.
Yeah, and here's the thing: there's a bowl on tonight. I'd like to know how many people in the country actually know that BYU is playing Wyoming tonight in San Diego at 9
and
o'clock.
And by the way, that's actually a pretty good game. But
yes.
Still, I mean, just watch these games, the pre-Christmas games, and see how hard they have to move the cameras around and make it look like there's anybody in the stand.
Oh my goodness,
and
Peter!
So
right.
it's really, like I said, some of these games they just don't need to do this.
Yeah,
they need to go back. They need to go back to 25 games at the most.
Oh my goodness!
And I'd be happy with 15 or 12. And really make these teams. You won 5 games and you lost 7, but you don't have enough teams so you can make a bowl game. It's disgraceful.
Right. Here's the reality. You're right. And here's the reality. Down here, Old Dominion's going to their first bowl ever in the Bahamas. People in the Bahamas could care less about college football if they played it every day in their backyard. But for a team like Old Dominion who's never been to a bowl, it's a big deal. I've talked to several people that have to work that game. It's a subpar field, but it's an ESPN event. It's on national TV, and most of these bowls are TV events. I like that part.
Right.
But most people know the Ravens beat the Eagles. I guarantee you, nobody knows if Arkansas State beat Central Florida last week. Nobody. That's the problem with the Las Vegas Bowl.
That's pretty obvious.
NFL games are events.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, no, it's pretty obvious, and I will say the kids will like it. These kids get a trip, and that's nice. But considering what is required to play college football, I'm happy whatever the kids get.
Right.
But this started. I always use the same example when this started in my mind. This started with the Poulan Weed Eater Bowl. Mm-hmm. And everyone looking at each other going, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And it just went downhill from there.
Right.
And so, the whole sponsorship thing, the whole stadium naming rights thing, these are all just about money. And, they don't necessarily, I'm not saying that stadium naming rights don't hurt the sport. They probably help the sport money-wise. And they certainly help colleges build big arenas. We have Xfinity Center here, and, you have some really beautiful arenas that are built because of sponsorships. So I can't really rail too much about that. But the bowl thing, you're absolutely right. The bowl thing is ridiculous. I really have never really liked the BCS. Maybe I'm just an old fuddy-duddy, an old romantic, but I remember when the biggest thing in the world was which team came out of the Pac-10 to play the Big Ten team in the Rose Bowl. That was the biggest game. And it had its own romance, had its history, and now it's like anybody can play anybody anytime.
Well, I want to get your final thoughts on this. You've covered, a lot. You've covered Buck and, and Davey and Harbaugh, Marchibroda, Billick. Who stands
you left
out?
out Connie Mack.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you go back to your days before Baltimore as well. Ray Lewis. Who's been the biggest personality in Baltimore the last 25 years?
Biggest personality in Baltimore? I think that would be, it might be a tie. I'm going to go with Cal Ripken because of the length of his career, but I think Cal Ripken and Ray Lewis over my career, I think the two of them, you could probably call it a dead heat, that depending on the sport, these two guys. Michael Phelps should be in that mix, but because of the once every 4-year burst of interest, it doesn't have the same feel. But obviously, Michael Phelps is an amazing personality in this city.
Yeah.
And so, but if it was me, because of the length of his career, and the fact that he was born in this area, I'm going to have to go with Cal.
I agree. Peter, all the best to you and your family for the holidays. Hoping to talk to you again after the first of the year, and good luck to the Ravens as they close out against the Steelers and the Bengals during this holiday season.
Well, I appreciate all that. Same to you. Have a great holiday, and to all your listeners in Virginia Beach. It'll probably be a little warmer there than here over the next couple of months, so enjoy yourself.
Yes, my sister lives in Whitemar, so I'm up there all the time. All right, well, be good, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
All right, buddy.
Okay, thank you. All right, Peter Schmuck right there from the Baltimore Sun right there on 1650. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT, at Greg Bick on Twitter. The news is next. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Keep it here.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. A wanted notice for a Tunisian suspect in the truck attack on a Christmas market in Berlin says the man should be considered armed and dangerous. Berlin city government says a dozen people still being treated for very serious injuries in the aftermath of the attack on the Christmas market. 12 people were killed and 48 wounded in Monday night's attack. The North Carolina legislature has begun a special session to consider repealing the controversial bathroom bill. Leader of Donald Trump's transition says the president-elect no longer interested in his catchphrase, drain the swamp, of Washington, D.C. On Wall Street right now, the Dow down about 15 points. NASDAQ is off 7. More details at srnnews.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-566-2424. That's 1-800-566-2424. 1-800-566-2424. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
I'm Lou Dimes. Home sales jump.
Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris, inviting you to join me for Sports Scene live each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 and TuneIn.com by typing WHKT in the search box. Excellent guests and interaction at Greg Bick on Twitter, all powered by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650. People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Oh, yeah, this is the place where Washington Wizards basketball comes alive on the radio.
John Wall, edge of the circle, cuts to his right, splits the defenders, drives, 360 under the basket, makes it, scores!
Follow John Wall, the Wizards, all season long on their journey through the NBA.
Catch and shoot for three, it's there! It's there!
Check it on Twitter at Dave J Sports or at GC Talks. It is the hashtag radio party right here on your home for Washington Wizards basketball.
Listen on 1650 AM, The Answer.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
Rack City chick, 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 10, 20s and the 50s chick, rack city chick, rack city chick.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene. Glad you're with us. Hope you enjoyed Peter Schmuck right there from the Baltimore Sun. Very transparent. And, you know, one thing, too, about the Ravens, yes, they're 8-6, but will they evolve these next two games? This is where you really can tell a team the next 2 weeks when everything is on the line. Sometimes you put yourself in a predicament where you have to look at the out-of-town scoreboard. That's not good, unlike the Patriots, who never have to because they know they're going to be in the playoffs, or even the Cowboys this year as well. So obviously the Patriots and Cowboys are two of the elite teams in the NFL. Highlights, gjbtv.com. Click the YouTube link. It's a big YouTube link for archive shows. Very simple. You can just type in the guest name in YouTube, kind of like Google, and look at old shows. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors perfectly for the holidays, folks. You only have 4 days for Christmas. Get some ideas on gjbtv.com. Some great restaurants. Also, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. That's HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit. Great places, retail, services, marketplace, coupons, restaurants. It's all in one, all inclusive. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Save the date. We'll be back for Sports Scene next Wednesday from 12 to 1 to close out the year. Also, like we mentioned, every Wednesday the show is archived on YouTube at Greg Bick on Twitter, at GJBTV, at HROnlineMall.com, WHKT AM 1650, as well as Sports Highlight. You can see all of that on the homepage of GJBTV.com. We'd also like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, listening to today's broadcast in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on TuneIn.com, a great app. We plug it here all the time on your phone or your computer. Simply type right now during the 12 to 1 o'clock hour, type WHKT in the search bar on TuneIn.com. You can subscribe to Sports Scene, also my YouTube page on GJBTV.com. Thanks for all that you do, military folks. We hope you're enjoying today's version of Sports Scene. Great holiday restaurant is CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. They showcase the best in the NBA, NHL, all the NFL, college football, all the bowls, all the great sports right there at CP Shuckers. 2 great locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. Like both locations on Facebook. Log on to cpshuckers.com. Great for holiday parties and even after the holidays. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers. Great food. Go by and see Matt, Mark, and Leon at Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. This is the highlight section of our show. We'll come back with some more guests and more fun right here on Sports Scene. Next week, we'll be giving away prizes, so save the date for that for the end of the year. Prizes right here on Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Your Oasis on the radio, your Oasis online to get away from the rack part of work during the week. This is your fun ride home, fun ride break during the monotony of the week. Happy holidays to everyone. With Michael Coleman, Greg Bicouvaris. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
Oh, yeah, this is the place where Washington Wizards basketball comes alive on the radio.
John Wall, edge of the circle, cuts to his right, splits the defenders, drives, 360 under the basket, makes it, scores!
Follow John Wall, the Wizards, all season long on their journey through the NBA.
Catch and shoot for 3, it's there! It's there!
Check it on Twitter at Dave J Sports or at JC Talks. It is the hashtag radio party right here on your home for Washington Wizards basketball.
Listen on 1650 AM, The Answer. People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email the show, bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studios.
Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene. Michael, how are you enjoying producing the show today, my friend? You enjoying it?
Of course. I love producing shows.
Absolutely. Mike is the man, the mix master behind the scenes, folks. All right. Outback Steakhouse, a great place during the holidays. They got great appetizers, entrees, desserts, of course, right there at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach, right in the heart of Kempsville. Go by and see Mike and the great staff. Get some salmon, get some steak, get some shrimp, great pasta, great appetizers, desserts, all types of courses right there. Great TVs, newly renovated, rustic-like building. You got to love Outback Steakhouse. They are the leader in chains for restaurants. Always consistent, good food. And, of course, a delicious time. Watch the games on TV. Get lunch, get dinner 7 days a week. Have your holiday parties or just because special moments at Outback Steakhouse at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Give them a call at 523-4832. The premier restaurant in Virginia Beach is Outback Steakhouse. All right, let's switch gears now. We enjoyed Peter Schmuck from the Baltimore Sun talking about the Ravens in Mid-Atlantic sports. Let's welcome Dr. Aaron Smith. We've had him on here before talking about the wonderful world of STEM in academics and, of course, activities. Aaron, how are you, my friend?
Good, Greg. How you doing, buddy?
Very good. Let's go ahead and, first of all, plug your Twitter handle and your website.
All right. Let's see. The Twitter handle is, at STEM School Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And the Facebook page URL is http://stemschooldoctor.com.
All right, tell us about exactly what is STEM. You hear that word all the time. Some people used to think it was just a biology experience, but of course it's academics and the world of academics. What exactly is STEM?
It's more than just an acronym. It stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And basically, it's the new wave where education can be combined with industry practices to create a higher level thinking, better products, and a better economy, not only for America, but the world.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, you promote that with your business. Talk about what your business specializes in.
What we try to do is we try to make everybody aware, everybody from groups to schools, understand the importance of it, because a lot of people, like you said, don't understand nothing but the face value of it. But the more people recognize how imperative it is to get this on board, they're going to see some huge differences. And, everybody from representing minorities to females, we want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to seize that moment.
Talk about your day-to-day work yourself.
All right. I am the program director at Aviation Academy, and I work with kids from all walks of life in Newport News. And I work with high school kids who deal with aviation, and we use aviation and STEM together to really show kids how fun it can really be. Mm-hmm. Within the aviation world itself, I'm sometimes talking with people from NASA, colleges across the country, getting ideas, and really trying to show kids really a professional side that they've never seen before, trying to jumpstart their careers and providing them with the skill sets to be successful.
Yeah, this is very relevant this time of the year. A lot of people are looking for jobs and looking to improve themselves with online classes and so forth. But it seems like to me, Dr. Aaron Smith, that STEM is just starting to get its potential. There's a lot more upside in the future to it.
It is. And, STEM has several different acronyms. STEM, of course, is Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics. The STEAM is Science, Technology, Engineering. It could be arts and mathematics. It could be applied mathematics. And then you have STEM H, which is another huge field which involves the healthcare sector. So it doesn't have to be just locked into the basics of STEM. It's just applying it across the curriculum and really tying in career technical education best practices with it.
Talking to Dr. Aaron Smith. This is Greg Bicouvaris, Sports Scene, at Greg Bick on Twitter, GREGBIC, kind of our business segment right here of Sports Scene. Of course, for more, log on to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link with Michael Coleman. It is 1244 at Hampton Road. Safe traveling for everybody 4 days before Christmas, and, of course, New Year's Eve right around the corner as well. In sports, you see a lot of analytics to try to help give you an edge with teams. Is this STEM also something that is for gifted students mostly, or who is your top prospect in STEM?
It's not necessarily the gifted kids. It's really the kids who want to be kinesthetic learners, and it really boils down to athletes, and kids who want a different frame of learning. And in combining with it, you understand a little bit of theory, but it's the practice that they get time in and time out to really be successful with it. Sports is just one area where I think a lot of people don't understand how STEM plays a role in it. When you think about the graphics and all the statistics behind a professional game, there is a ton of statistics and STEM, if you will, that just people don't go and understand behind the scenes unless you're actually there.
Absolutely, and of course, again, we talk about how much upside it's got too. And STEM is it popular locally, regionally, nationally? What is the landscape of it?
It's really internationally. I think it really corners not only to the local schools and communities and industries, but it's becoming a common language that's often heard in many places. I think part of the problem is people don't understand that there should be a common definition of what good STEM looks like. People just think throwing some Legos at somebody and just letting them develop a product is one thing, but you need to do much more than that. You need to have a team team together to discuss it, to break things down, to build it back up, and give them several scenarios to work through.
How can people get a hold of you? I know you can see Dr. Aaron Smith's link on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. That's HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. But talk about the specifics, how people can get a hold of you.
Well, they can certainly go to my Twitter site, which is at STEM School Doctor, and also visit my website. I have a contact page on my website at http://stemschooldoctor.com, and I'll certainly get back with you as soon as you respond back to me. If you want to email me, it's just stemdr@yahoo.com. And I love to talk to people and see how I can help them improve their situation, hopefully help some kids along the way.
You're like the Dr. Phil. We're going to ask you for advice.
Well, it's fun because when you give advice, you also learn too. Because
Sure.
If you're not talking with people, you're really never gaining any knowledge. And I think that's the beauty of education: is you're sharing, and it truly is caring when you give other people what you know.
You've made a lot of public appearances and guest appearances in the past, including at some major bookstores. What have you got lined up for the first quarter in 2017?
Right now, I'm in the final processes of submitting a draft for my second book to be created. So it's a little bit of STEM, but it's also going to be a story with it. And working on a couple of conferences, waiting to hear back for confirmations on it. And probably in late spring, early summer is when I'll be able to get some more validation to it.
What intrigued you the most about STEM?
I think seeing the light bulb go off for the kids. For me, I was an active learner, and I just hated doing worksheets day in and day out. And it gives me a chance. It gives the kids a chance to get out of the seats, to explore, to discover, use technology in many different areas, and just think on a different level than just traditional education. That's part of the problem with America's education is, unfortunately, we're still behind the curve when we really need to be leading the curve.
Mm-hmm. In so many classrooms now, it seems like around the country are getting away from the regular pen and pencil. It's all computer, and I still think there's some added value to cursive and handwriting, isn't it, Aaron?
Oh, absolutely. It's the skill sets, because cursive not only helps you register those concepts and ideas, but it really helps you formulate really more thought behind just the initial thing that comes to your mind. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about the soft skills, not only do people need to speaking and being articulate with it, but they also need to be product-centered and being able to back up what they're doing. The number one problem that we see across America is the work ethic. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, unless it starts changing not only in the classrooms but in our homes and everywhere, we're not going to be able to get ahead of it. And the kids that want to do these things are the ones that are going to be ahead, much unlike any of their counterparts.
You're right, because a good attitude, and still the old phrase, the early bird gets the worm first, and that's still a proactive, confident kid or adult, whether it's at school or work. It makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, absolutely. And again, it does not mean that it has to be the smartest or the most gifted kid. I've seen kids that have special needs, and the quality of the work has been just as phenomenal as somebody sitting next to them with a 4.3 GPA. It's not always the person with the most talents. I think it's the person with the hardest drive and the most committed to whatever they do.
Aaron, thanks a lot. All the best to you and your family during this holiday season. We'll talk to you again in 2017. Leave us with your Twitter handle. We'll tweet the show to you later tonight.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for having me. It is at STEM, STEM, school, SCHOOLDR.com.
Very good. All the best, my friend, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Greg. Have a Happy New Year.
You too. All right, Dr. Aaron Smith talking about STEM, and one thing, too, Michael, is that you can learn so much from other people, whether it's academics, athletics, activities, and music as well, to open up people's mind and culture all the time. That during this holiday season, be kind to your neighbor, but also you can learn from everybody. Don't you agree?
Of course, learning is key.
Very good, very good. My friend Michael here producing today, Mr. Soft-Spoken Michael at the mic right here, who produces the morning show from 6 to 10 weekdays right here on News Talk 1650. Also, tunein.com by typing in WHKT. My background, my timeline. You can add me on Facebook too, right on gjbtv.com. Twitter is the king. It seems like people always ask me, what are the top social media sites? I would still say, depending on what age range you are, but Twitter, the media always talks about Twitter. You don't see them giving a whole lot of love for Facebook anymore. Facebook is still popular for birthdays and stuff like that. And of course, Facebook Live is really good as well. But I would say Twitter, YouTube are really 1 and 2. LinkedIn, so. Just because you know somebody in Hawaii, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. But it still seems like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are still the top 3. Snapchat, that's like text messaging basically. That hasn't really evolved much. But I would say, obviously, Twitter for getting something out fast in 140 characters. YouTube is very good because you can post videos in there, radio, TV, whatever you want to do. And, of course, Facebook as well for, your friends overseas or birthday wishes or so forth. All right, we'll come back with our favorite segment, What Teased Me Off, and a lot more. This is Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1 on 1650 AM. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. At Greg Bick on Twitter, GREGBIC. Stay tuned.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com. Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris, inviting you to join me for Sports Scene live each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 and TuneIn.com by typing WHKT in the search box. Excellent guests and interaction at Greg Bick on Twitter, all powered by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, back right here to Sports Scene. Also want to thank our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings, Paul Odette, and the great staff right there at the Patrick Henry Mall location. The best place for wings, beer, and sports. Wall-to-wall TV. Your home for the bowls. Watch Old Dominion this coming up Friday at 1 o'clock on ESPN. Also, all the great gift cards. Great. You'll be a hero by all the gift cards you can get at Buffalo Wild Wings. And, of course, buy $25 in holiday gift cards for use on a future visit. Get a blazing bonus worth up to $100 that you can redeem January 1st through February 28th, 2017. That blazing bonus could be anywhere up to $100 in bonus points there for you from Buffalo Wild Wings. They've got great burgers. They've got great appetizers, great shareables. They've got a lot of good stuff. They got great wings, of course, all the different sauces you want, mozzarella sticks, fried pickles, shareables, like we said, great fries, great salads, great appetizers, all at Buffalo Wild Wings right there at 12150 Jefferson Avenue in Newport News. Give them a call at 249-3999. Watch all the NFL this weekend, all the great college football bowls, NBA, right there at Buffalo Wild Wings. Your place on the peninsula, bar none, is Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. The best in wings, of course, wings, beer, and sports. Let's get to what teased me off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
All right, what teased me off? We always have a lot of fun with this. And, of course, you want to miss some other What Teased Me Off, go to GJBTV.com, hit the YouTube link for any sports scene shows, kind of fast forward toward the end. You can hear all the great What Teased Me Offs for the last several years as well. All right, Michael, websites asking for donations. Have you noticed that lately on Wikipedia and Mozilla? They're like asking for donations. How about they generate income like we all have to? You know, you see that all the time.
Yes, yes.
All right, how about satellites? Radio stations relying on satellites. You know, it always happens when you go home at night and you wonder if their station's going to be on the air or not.
Right.
How about the so-called fake news stories on Facebook or wherever? Come on, let's be real. People don't believe the internet to begin with. We don't need fake news stories, right?
Yeah, you're right.
What tees you off, Michael?
When I'm driving on the highway and it's congested because people are looking at an accident on the other side of the highway.
Right,
So, yeah.
exactly. How about this? When you go to get gas, Michael Coleman, when you can barely see the pump number at the gas station, you go back and tell the lady or the man at the desk, "Oh, what's your pump?" I don't know because I can't see the pump number. You know that, especially in the winter when it's freezing outside trying to pump gas.
And the numbers all faded.
This time of the year, you'll love this one. When you go to a holiday party and somebody comes up to you and say, "Hey, what's up, Greg?" or "What's up, Michael?" and they reek of alcohol and tobacco.
What about bad BO?
Oh, that's even worse. Bad breath, and bad breath, too, as well. All right. How about this? Overcrowded public lines. You know, public lines this time of the year are horrible, but the restrooms are even worse. It makes you not even want to go to the restroom. All right. This whole concept of food trucks. I'm a foodie. You look at my websites, gjbtv.com, hamptonroadsonlinemall.com. I'm not sure about food trucks, okay? I like restaurants. I like diners. Food trucks, you don't know what goes on in a food truck because you can't see it, Mike. Have you ever ordered any food from a food truck before?
Yeah, when I was in New York.
What did you think about it?
I just had to have the New York experience. So.
Right, exactly. Like Philly, the cheesesteaks and so forth as well. All right. People who serve food, Michael, but also bust the dirty trays as well.
Oh, no. Can't do that.
No. When you eat food, you don't want to see the waitress or the waiter also picking up your dirty dishes and saying, "Oh, by the way, here's your dessert now."
Right.
No, you know how it goes. Anyway, all right, 4 days having a little fun before Christmas. Go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows as well. All powered by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Don't forget, we have Wizards basketball starting in January. 10 select games. The Wizards are playing a lot better under Beal and Wall. Also, our good friend in the morning, John, reminds me that Tennessee is doing very well and they could possibly make the postseason. We shall see, but they've done really good. Tennessee has improved in the AFC. Is still a lot to be determined. There's still 2 weeks left in the NFL season. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's amazing. All the bowls going on, but all people are talking about is the NFL. Well, the Redskins, they got a big game against the Bears. Most of the NFL games are on Saturday this weekend. The Eagles play the Giants tomorrow night, Saturday schedule. You got a couple games on Sunday. And, of course, the Cowboys, of course, play on Monday night. I want to thank all of our great guests today. Peter Schmuck from the Baltimore Sun. We get the elite guests right here on Sports Scene. Also, Dr. Aaron Smith talking about STEM. Really interesting about academics, athletics, and activities as well. So always really good guests. We always try to learn something each week. Next week, I'll be giving away a prize pack to a lucky listener. We've done a lot of those over the years, and I want to thank all of our great listeners. You really make Sports Scene what it is. Your feedback, your comments, it's all inclusive. We really appreciate all of our great listeners. You are the reason this show is successful as well. So I want to thank you. Have a safe and happy holidays as well. At Greg Bick on Twitter. That's GregBic. Go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link, and also listen to me on TuneIn.com. For Michael, I'm Greg. We'll talk to you soon.